Hello, everyone. Today I'm here with Wilfred Nwagaba. She's a counselor and she helped me through a challenging time I was going through, and that's how I got to know her. So I've been talking a lot about mental health, but we've not yet really spoken to people who help people that have mental problems, that have emotional problems, psychological problems, and even just challenges in life. So we can't always think it's about people who are going crazy, but just daily challenges. People need someone to talk to, and she's one of those people. Hello, how are you?
Hello, how are you? I'm very fine. I'm happy to be here with you. I'm happy to be on your podcast and I'm willing to share whatever I can.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I wanted to just ask a few questions so that people can understand what is a counselor.
Okay. I'll introduce myself. I'm called Wilfred Nwagava Chiemba. I'm a counselor by profession and who is a counselor or what is a counselor? A counselor is a person who helps people emotionally, who helps people identify themselves. Yes.
Okay, and how long have you been a counselor?
Uh, I think at my facility, I've been here for over 1 year and a few months. But then I've been counseling, like in church, at school, even when I was doing my internship, I was all, all that doing counseling. And I think altogether it is around 4 years of counseling.
Okay, so for people who want to enter this field or people who are curious, how did you start to enter the counseling field?
No, it is a passion for me. Counseling is a passion for me. So I've always been counseling people, counseling my friends, counseling my peers around me, and some people would just even come to me where it's just like they are visitors, and then before you know it, they've gone through therapy, minus me even noticing that we are what, or even them noticing that we were actually doing counseling. So it just came naturally, and then I was like, wait a minute, people come to me for help, that means I cancel them. Then I started pursuing it.
Had you studied anything to do with this field?
Yes, when I noticed that, that's when I went back to school and I was doing public health, where of course we get to talk about counseling. Then later I majored into mental health. Mental health. That's where we talk about psychological issues. Yes. Mm.
Okay. And I wanted to ask, what type of counseling do you do?
I do psychological counseling.
Okay.
Yes, I do psychological counseling, but then I'm also a Christian. Being a Christian, I know the truth of the Bible. So sometimes when I'm dealing with a person, I talk about Christian truth in the Bible. Bible scriptures that are truth of life. So I incorporate it in my counseling.
Okay.
Mm.
I just wanted people to know where you're located in case they want to find you. Where are you located?
Yes, my counseling center is at Chanja off Kungu Road, uh, and it's on a building called Percentage Homes. It's called Olive Haven Counseling Center.
So typically, how long does a counseling session last?
Yes, the counseling session always depends on what issue we are dealing with. And in that case, what I usually recommend for any issue that I'm dealing with, at least sessions should be at least 6 sessions, and then each session should be 2 hours to 3 hours. Yes. Mm.
And does the counseling does the counseling depend on the problem, like how long it will take?
Yes. In most cases, the problem gives you the time, and even the person that you're dealing with. Yes, because sometimes counseling depends on even the willingness of the person. Yes, because some are behavioral things that we are dealing with. We could be dealing with a behavior that we are trying to change, and with that person, you do not just rush. You have to give them time. You have to. It could even take months. Yes. Mm.
And how much do you usually charge for your counseling sessions?
Yes, like I've told you, I love it when at least I make that the minimum should be 6 sessions. So I usually package how much should someone pay for those 6 sessions as one package, and that package usually is 400,000. Yes, and in that amount, you are expecting to have 6 sessions of 2 to 3 hours. Yes, because now me, I have time on my hands, but sometimes the clients themselves don't have time, so that's why I'm talking of 2 to 3 hours. Yes.
Okay, and what if the client finishes, like you see there is progress before the 6 sessions are over? How do you go about that?
Really, I've never gotten that. In most cases, we actually go beyond the 6 sessions. That's why I'm telling you that the minimum should be at least 6 sessions, because there, you've talked about everything. The therapy has really been enough. Like that is like the dosage. If we are to bring it back to the medical world, that is the dosage, the starting dosage for for a client who needs counseling.
Okay. Nowadays, okay, who comes for counseling most? Is it men or women or both?
No, the issue of coming doesn't matter, but what matters is that all of us, we need counseling. Whether men or women, we all need counseling. Anyone is a potential client to become what? A counselee. You understand? Anyone is a potential client. Mm. Mm.
Um, when it comes to counseling and prayer, some people believe prayer alone works. Some people focus mostly on counseling alone. Do you think they work together best, or each of them should be dealt with separately?
I believe they work both best. When you incorporate prayer and counseling, it gives you good results. Like you get really good results, you as a counselor. But there are people who know how to talk to themselves. Have you heard of omuntu yebuulirira? Omuntu ne yebuulirira, just because maybe it is in their background. Maybe they've grown up in a family where they've always been advised, they've always been, told what to do. They just chose to do what? To ignore them. But then this time they are in a situation, and then they remember what was the norm, what has always been told to me. What was my mother telling me? What was my grandmother telling me? That is like the informal counseling that all of us have grown up with. And then you get back to your senses. In other words, you get back to your senses, and then you start prayer knowing what has always been told to you, and then you practice it. Yes. So I can easily incorporate prayer with what? With counseling, because like I told you, I love Christian counseling, because you sure that you rely on someone who is great, who is bigger, who is God. Yes.
Are there some cases that are extreme that they need to like go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist? Have you met people who even their state of mind like is not, they're not in this world, they're like having like maybe hallucinations and all these things?
Yes.
How do you deal with that?
Yes, I've met such people, and sometimes the times when we can talk about them, because the times we can deal with them, and the times when it is overwhelming, and I refer. Yes, because some really need mental hospital, and then that's when we can refer to Britannica. Others have rehabs. Yes, where they can go.
Okay, according to you, do you think that what do you think are the major causes? As in, you've been counseling people for some time now. What are the patterns you see, the things that cause people to come for counseling? For example, is it work stress? Is it health issues? Like, what are those key areas that seem to be disturbing people?
Yes, there are lots of issues. Uh, Work conflicts, work stress, like you've mentioned, relationship issues, strains in relationships cause depression, and but most cases, what I've seen and what has been an issue is lack of identity in a person. Most people are lost. They don't know who they are. They don't know the potential they have. Even when they've studied, even when they've lost that identity, and they've lost themselves somewhere. So some of them, those are the people that come, that seek. Once they are lucky to know that really I have a problem, that's when they start seeking out for counseling. Yes.
So, can you elaborate a little more? What is loss of identity for people who may not understand?
Loss of identity is when you don't know your worth. It's when you feel you are nothing. You feel you're no longer even worthy to live. In fact, if they don't come for counseling, if they don't get help, those are people who will have suicidal tendencies. Those are people who will forget about the world, who will change their social life, will become miserable, who will never even look out, to do anything, because they feel, probably it was because they lost out on something, maybe because they lost a job, or and maybe that job was their identity, and now they feel they no longer fit anywhere just because they don't have that job. Yes. Or because they lost a husband, or they lost a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and loss always causes issues of identity, because you identify so much with that thing that you are attached to. Maybe it's a title, maybe it's it was putting you in a certain caliber, and now that you no longer have identify with that caliber, then you're no more, which is really a lie.
Okay. Like, I find that I'm getting questions on my TikTok about people who seem to have lost their identity. The other day there was a gentleman talking. I was talking about laziness, and he said it's not that people are lazy. It's just that they are not. They are being forced to do things they are not interested in, and they are not aligned with maybe their purpose. I'm just paraphrasing, or the things they want to do. How would you advise someone like that?
Mm, for me, what I would think, it's not that, yes, it's not that they are lazy, but still, I believe once the job is there, even if it's not what you want, but it gives you what you want, you'd still go ahead and what? And do it. But the truth of the matter is that the jobs are not what? Are not there. So people, and even those that are there, are not giving the worth that someone expects. You understand? You could find that someone is uh, working in an office, but they're only earning 300,000. And this is a father who has to take children to school and has to run the bills of the home. So that person will never be satisfied. In the end, but if at all that job he was doing was satisfying him, was giving him what at least minimum, that bare minimum is being covered by that job, then he would settle for it. But another thing that I would also include is that if you feel you're not doing something that you want, that you really want, then start what you want. Start out and do what you want, because yes, at the beginning it will end. It will start with, you will start small. You will start struggling, but you will start limping. But before you know it, you'll be on your 2 feet and you'll be running your passion. You'll be doing what is in your passion, and it will give you fulfillment. Even when you're getting little, by the way, you'll always be fulfilled to go ahead and do it. And then later it will start rewarding you. Later it will start, everyone who has made it out in life, not everyone started when they are receiving what they want, but they hung in there. Yes, they hung in there, and before they knew it, they were blossoming. They were succeeding in whatever they were doing. Even for me here at the counseling center, not because I'm a Christian, and I serve also in church. Some of my clients come from church, so some of those clients I do not charge because, like I told you, I serve in church. So it's like a continuation of my service in church. So I do not charge them, and I continue receiving them here at the counseling center. And that means I'll have taken time for someone else who would have paid, and then I'm giving it to this person who's not going to pay. But because I know I'm doing it it's my passion. First of all, I'll struggle out to get money to pay for rent, but I just need to fulfill myself and then that person's needs. You get it? And even it doesn't mean that all the time I have the money, but because I want to do it, I find myself injecting all the money that I have to pay for the rent, to pay for the bills for this place, and that's how I survive. Mm.
So basically what you're saying is sometimes following your purpose or your passion is not easy.
It's not easy. It's never easy. It's never easy.